What is up, everybody? Thank you for stopping in to talk a trio of Bijan Robinson Dynasty trades. If you want to go ahead and skip ahead to that first of three deals, by all means, go for it. Before I get there, my name is Chu. You can check me out on Twitter and, of course, here on YouTube at Father Dynasty. If you're enjoying this video, even like a little bit, if you go ahead and hit that like button for me, greatly appreciate it. And if you want to see more content like this, if you want to see the full podcast episodes where I'm talking fatherhood and fantasy football, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And as far as I understand it, it just kind of comes right to you. So you don't even have to do anything. Talking about these three trades that I have today, pulled these from the dynastydaddy.com trade finder, their trade database. Polls from real trades that are happening in leagues. Incredibly helpful. It's a free tool, so it's not an affiliate, not a sponsor, just I think it's a great tool to use there. As a lot of us are in, different dynasty leagues with different league settings, league sizes, that sort of thing. It's helpful to be able to discern, in each league setting what you're looking for, whether you already did a trade and you're kind of just wanting to see what other people have done, or you're looking to make a trade and you want to do a bit of research just to see. At the end of the day, if you want to make a trade, follow your gut, do your thing, but it's nice just kind of see what else is going on in the dynasty community. But jumping into it, Bijan Robinson, one of the first round rookies running backs this year, 13.1 points per game thus far on the season, and that's matching Derrick Henry and Tony Pollard as well, both 13.1 points per game. In terms of where he's at, so Bijan Robinson, he's got a better yards per attempt, so yards per rushing attempt, than 12 of the 15 running backs ranked ahead of him in fantasy this year, in terms of points per in terms of total points, excuse me. The only three that he is not better than are Raheem Mostert, Jahmyr Gibbs, and James Cook. But again, the other 12, he has a better rushing efficiency metric there. And thus far, he only has 2 games of more than 20 touches. So again, that's rushing attempts as well as receptions. Overall, I know it's been a very frustrating situation for anyone who's a Bijan Robinson owner thus far. Again, you would have gotten him in the first round. You would have foregone the other quarterbacks likely unless you had multiple firsts. And it's been a confusing situation. And I'm not just talking about Arthur Smith having his mustache, shaving it off. That's confusing in and of itself. But the usage of Bijan Robinson has been tremendously frustrating. And, I mean, this is a team that has the fourth most run plays in the game, per game, like in the NFL. So it's something that you really want to see him utilized more as a bell cow, coming out of college, coming out of Texas. He was spoken about as if he were the next generation of running back, the next Saquon Barkley, that sort of thing. And it's not crazy to see that. I mean, to understand that, seeing how quick he is, how I feel like with some of the acrobatic things he does, as a receiver and that sort of thing, and his elusivity, what he does, everything at his size, it's incredible. And him being paired with, as Arthur Smith has explained, the best or one of the best goal line backs in Tyler Allgeier. While I know it's important to have, that 1-2 punch, it's oftentimes committee backfields nowadays in the NFL. I really hope that we see it trend in a different direction where Bijan is really taking a lion's share of the snaps, of the touches, of it all. And again, with it being such a run-heavy team, the opportunity is there. We just hope that Arthur Smith gives it to him. And, of course, in Week 12, they're apparently going back to Desmond Ridder from Taylor Heineke. Apparently that was the plan all along. They wanted Ridder to work out some kinks. I don't even know. Well, I don't know what that means. But that was planned all along, so they didn't want to look ridiculous in that they did that. So we'll see how this goes. But on Keep Trade Cut, we've got Bijan Robinson as the RB2, and that is one behind Christian McCaffrey and one ahead of his fellow first-rounder, Jahmyr Gibbs. And at my rankings over at goingfor2.com, I have him as the RB2, also behind Christian McCaffrey. Go ahead and check those out if you're interested. I am routinely updating those. And jumping into the first deal. And this deal is actually a deal that I made just a few days ago. So this would have been right before Week 11 took place. But, of course, Bijan was on a bye, so it didn't really impact the lineups of myself or my trade partner. But this one is this actually is a one quarterback league, the only one quarterback league I'm in. I took the team over last year, or beginning last year. So a 10-team start 8 PPR, no tight end premium, and again, one quarterback. So I traded away Bijan and a 2025 fifth, because you got to throw in a fifth. And I got back 2024 first, 2025 second, Najee Harris, and Jamison Williams. And again, this was before Week 11, so Najee had a good game in Week 10, but of course was overshadowed by Jaylen Warren. And once Week 11 actually commenced, Jaylen Warren had a tremendous game. And all of this was also before Matt Canada was relieved of his OC duties in Pittsburgh. So I don't know what this offense is going to look like. Again, it's been very favorable for Jaylen Warren on the last couple of games. So if anything, you do hope for Jaylen Warren, it continues that way. But for me, initially I wasn't sure. I did see initially it was the first Najee Harris and Jamison Williams. I liked it, but I was like, there's a bit of uncertainty with Najee. I don't think he's going to lose. I think he'll just become maybe the 1B in this committee a little bit, because I do think he can be a bit more of a grinder than what Jaylen Warren can. But again, got that second thrown in there. And with what Bijan's done, with what my team looks like, at this point, I've got 2 firsts in 2024, 2 seconds in 2024, 2 firsts in 2025, and 3 seconds in 2025. And that excludes some thirds and fourths and fifths. Overall, I'm really building this team to kind of, once I get through a couple of these drafts, I think I'll build up a bit more talent there. Really, the only player I'm kind of building around at this point is I've got Kyler. I've got a couple of younger, Romeo Doubs and Jahan Dotson and Pat Freiermuth. But other than that, I've got Raheem Mostert and Adam Thielen, a couple of slightly older guys that, again, have produced pretty well, at least at certain points. But, again, a lot of the other roster has been different injuries, different ups and downs, and that sort of thing. So, again, trying to figure out, kind of more of a middling team and really just trying to pick a side going up or going down. I'd rather go down a little bit, catch a first, and keep going forward. So, yeah, that is my deal. I just made there right before Week 11. And jumping over into the next two, these were not my deals. These were pulled from Dynasty Daddy. So deal number 2, 12-team start 10 PPR half-point tight end premium. So this one is a bit cleaner, a bit simpler. CJ Stroud, if you've heard of him, and for Bijan Robinson and Trey McBride. This one, a lot of the ones that I've seen lately that are including Trey McBride, he's not really the central piece, but he's not just a throw-in necessarily. I think in a lot of people's eyes, it's such a savvy move. Because, again, I would take CJ Stroud, no questions asked, in this deal. I like Bijan. Again, I did mention about his usage and it being confusing, it being frustrating. We can believe, and we've been told, that Arthur Smith is, of course, going to remain the coach, at least for this season. I don't know if anything has been confirmed for next year. Even if it did, they don't have to stick to it, and they could fire him. But I feel like as long as they're in the I know they're very much in the playoff hunt. I think they're, one loss back from that last wild card spot. And they play in a terrible division, as I would know by the jersey behind me. So anything's possible. And again, even if they make the playoffs, the owner could just be frustrated and get rid of Arthur Smith. But yeah, CJ Stroud, I really like what that team's doing this year. CJ Stroud's been able to step in. I was entirely wrong about him. Of the 3 primary quarterbacks, again, this I guess would have been excluding Will Levis, of the earlier guys with CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson, Bryce Young. So when it came to Dynasty, it was Anthony Richardson all the way 1, and I actually had Stroud as the 3rd, so Bryce Young 2nd. I know that Bryce Young has just been dealing with a Swiss cheese O-line, a very confusing offensive scheme. But CJ Stroud, I mean, for any excuse you want to make about Bryce Young not performing that well, you can't discount what CJ Stroud's done. It's been incredible. He's brought life to Nico Collins that I feel like we haven't seen since, for him being in the NFL this long. Tank Dale coming in and making an ass of everyone who says that someone at that size can't produce. Again, that guy's literally as tall and weighs as much as I do, like almost exactly to a T. So it's pretty crazy to see everything that he's done there. And yeah, overall, I think it's going to be an exciting future for C.J. Stroud. In this deal, Trey McBride, I get why it can be maybe slightly appealing. There is a minor premium, but not really enough, in my opinion, for it to matter. And again, this is super flex, so again, QB reigns supreme. And if anything, again, I trust the stability of C.J. Stroud's value. And if anything, as hyped up as C.J. Stroud has gotten lately, the fact that all it took was Bijan and Trey McBride, that's pretty wild. That's a good deal. So if you got C.J. Stroud on that one, tremendous. Jumping over to the third and final of these deals. So this one's a little bit longer. That's what she said. We got Jordan Addison, James Cook, a 2024 first, 2025 second, a 2026 third. Nice little sequential 1, 2, 3. All of that for Bijan Robinson, 2025 second, and a 2026 second. So, James Cook, he's had a tremendous year this year. I feel like he's really coming into his own. Jordan Addison, of course, he's gotten the chance to, step up with Justin Jefferson out. Should be coming back soon, as far as I understand. And KJ Osborne out for a little bit as well. But then he also has been without Kirk Cousins. Now he has Josh Dobbs. Tremendous rookie season for him, battling a lot of different things. But again, has done very well. What is also included there, like I mentioned, the first, second, and third. Interesting to kind of spread it out that way. Sure, it makes it more palatable. But on the other side, Bijan Robinson and having the 2 seconds over 2025, 2026, that's nice that you could add that in there in terms of being able to get those seconds back going forward. Don't know where any of these picks land. Don't know if it's all, early, mid, late. But just looking at what we've got here, if I assume they're all middle picks, I'm going with the Addison Cook first, second, and third side. I trust that much more. Again, it has a first on that side. It has a young, productive running back. And it has a young, productive wide receiver in Jordan Addison. I trust that. And honestly, what we're seeing with James Cook, this is really the first time in a good while that we've seen the rushing load not be squarely on Josh Allen's shoulders. And it was, at least to this point, when this video is being made, we've only seen one game of a non-Ken Dorsey run offense. And, with what Joe Brady's done and is going to do, I don't know if he's going to continue to be the offensive coordinator next year. I'm not sure. But I think at least James Cook and what you've seen about his productivity and his talent, I think he's certainly worthwhile to keep as a running back. Again, we're always, in Dynasty, we're always nervous about the running back and the thought of the fragility of the value with injury, teams constantly being concerned with paying a running back, or more often than not, wanting to not pay the running back, being able to get that cheap production from rookies or guys on cheaper contracts. So, yeah, overall, I very much trust the Addison Cook side of things there. Go ahead in the comments. Let me know what you think of all these trades. Let me know what you think of my trade, my first one that I said there. If there's any trades that you guys have had or are thinking of doing related to Bijan Robinson, throw them in the comments. Love to hear about it. It's interesting being in his rookie season. A lot of the trades happening, so likely if you're trading him away, you would have just drafted him. But what is your mindset of why you'd want to get rid of him, or if you're actually looking to go get him, do you feel like you're getting a value at this point? Do you feel like with him being so hyped up, generational running back, you're able to get him for a palatable deal? So go ahead and drop it in the comments, and happy Dynasty.